Welcome to a new episode from Perfect English Podcast. Today is all about common mistakes, and we're going to focus on the common mistakes with occupation. Let's take a look at these examples. It used to be difficult for women to get good occupations. And take a look at the other sentence. The important thing is to be happy in your occupation. Now, the word occupation is not used correctly. To use the correct word, we need to go through some words we use when we talk about work. The first word obviously is job. Now, your job is what you do to earn your living. You say you will never get a job if you don't have any qualifications. Your job is also the particular type of work that you do. So when we say, for example, John's new job sounds really interesting. I know she works for the BBC, but I'm not sure what job she does. A job may be full-time or part-time. We don't say half-time or half-day, by the way. So this is the first word we need to know about when it comes to work, which is job. In our case here, the best word to use is job. So instead of saying occupation in these two examples, we should say it used to be difficult for women to get good jobs, and the important thing is to be happy in your job. But before we move to a new word, let's take a look at the other words we can use when it comes to work. We have another expression that we use all the time when we say do for a living. When you want to know about the type of work that someone does, the usual questions are, what do you do, or what does she or what does he do for a living? So this is also a common question when we want to ask somebody about what they do in life. The word occupation is similar to word job. However, occupation is far less common than job and is used mainly in formal and official styles. When we say, please give me brief details of your employment history and present occupation. We say, for example, people in manual occupation seem to suffer less from stress. There is another word that we use very often as well, and that is post or position. Now, the particular job that you have in a company or organization is your post or position. For example, we say she's been appointed to the post of deputy principal. He's applied for the position of sales manager. So post and position are used mainly in formal styles and often refer to jobs which have a lot of responsibility. There's also a word that we use often, and that is career. Now, your career is not exactly one job. Your career is your working life. It is the series of jobs that you have been doing during your working life. For example, we can say that the scandal brought his career in politics to a sudden end. We can also say that later on in his career, he became first secretary at the British Embassy in Washington. Your career is also the particular kind of work for which you are trained and that you intend to do for a long time. For example, you say, I wanted to find out more about careers in publishing. So you see, it's not exactly the same like job. We also have the word trade, and a trade is a type of work in which you do or make things with your hands. For example, we say most of the men had worked in skilled trades such as carpentry or printing. We can also say my grandfather was a bricklayer by trade. There is one last word we need to talk about in the sense, and that is profession. A profession is a type of work such as medicine, teaching, or law, which requires a high level of training or education. For example, we can say, until recently, medicine has been a male-dominated profession. We can also say, she entered the teaching profession in 1987. Thank you very much for listening to this episode from Perfect English Podcast. This is your host, Danny, saying thank you very much, and I will see you again tomorrow.